The next question, is there a certain character you like to voice in general?
I used to love doing Tristan. Well, I still love doing Tristan's voice, but he used to be my favorite because he was a character that whenever I uploaded an episode, everyone was like, "I wonder what Tristan's going to say this time," and I'm like, "Well, you know what? He said this," and he's become less and less of that character these days for some reason. I think Tristan sort of he used to be just the idiot of the show, but he's developed into something of a badass. Because if you actually watch the original Yu-Gi-Oh, Tristan did the most ass kicking in that show. It would be like, well, Yugi's saving the world, but Tristan is off somewhere kicking the ass of some random henchman, which isn't actually doing much to help the plot. But wow, Tristan can actually punch people and stuff. And yeah, he's sort of more of a more confident character in the abridged series, and he's for some reason that's made him less interesting to write for and voice. But Marek is my favorite because you really he's off the wall, and he's seems he's completely independent of everything else that's happening. He seems to be off in his own little world. He's oblivious, and he's completely thoroughly in love with himself, and he's got all these interesting personality quirks that, you know, they might not even be noticeable when you listen to him in the show, but it's stuff that I consciously write into it, like being completely oblivious to Bakura's advances. Because, you know, a lot of people wonder, wait, do you think Bakura and Marek have a thing going on? I'm like, no, they don't. But Bakura is interested, and Marek is just sort of like, what? What are you talking about? No. But uh, yeah, I think it's interesting that, I mean, Marek is the best to ad lib with, and just doing that voice, it's simple, and he can raise his voice really high, and he can basically do anything with his voice, and he'll be as funny, even if he's talking really quietly, he sounds funny, and if he's screaming his head off, he sounds funny, and it's just a fun character because everybody sort of beats up on him, and he's pissed off about it.
Pepsi or Coke?
Well, I actually have a Coke in my hand at the moment, but I don't know. I mean, I think the Coke logo is awesome. Perhaps, I don't know. I think Coke, just because you know, the Santa Claus commercial with the trucks and stuff. That's awesome. I have to go with Coke.
I'm gonna steal one from Nathan Graves' playbook. Pirates or ninjas?
Ooh. I thought I was out of this. I thought just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. Uh, the Pirates or Ninjas. I have to go with the ninjas because I don't know. You don't require any training to be a pirate. You can just decide to be a pirate, and they'll pretty much accept you. You can become a pirate by accident, but ninjas you have to go out and specifically become one of them. You have to train and dedicate yourself. Whereas pirates, that they can pretty much sleep their way through being a pirate. Ninjas, yeah, ninjas have the advantage. They have the more easily concealed weapons, and they don't have to deal with the fact that they have pirates that they have to clean up after.
But none that
With their
have to
wooden
deal
leg.
with Naruto pirate or ninjas, excuse me.
Yeah, true. I mean, what kind of ninja wears bright orange? I mean, that's not exactly great camouflage. I never understood that. I've not watched much Naruto. I've seen maybe one and a half episodes of Naruto, and I don't get the appeal. I mean, blasphemy, whatever. I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't get what the big deal is. Can you explain it to me?
Well, if I tried to explain, I'd be hung the next day by Naruto fanboys.
Why? You're trying to explain to me why it's awesome, dude.
I don't even watch it myself. I mean, the
Oh,
manga, I mean, I can understand on, but it's just when it comes to anime like that, it's the filler, and I don't tend to like filler.
right. I've not seen enough anime to understand the whole filler thing, but yeah, mm, I don't know. I mean, it depends on the filler, really, because there is some good filler out there, I'm sure.
Well, there's some in DBZ that I remember watching, and that one's pretty much forgivable on my end.
I've never seen Dragon Ball Z.
Uh, well, it's it's a decent anime to watch from time to time.
I think it's one of those shows you have to sort of have grown up with.
Mm, well, it can pretty much be like whenever you feel like watching something, you can.
Somebody once told me that Dragon Ball Z is the anime equivalent of pro wrestling.
And Goku is Hulk Hogan.
Well, I don't know. I don't really know anything about Goku, but Hulk Hogan, I mean, didn't his son just get into a huge car accident and cause the near fatal injury of his best friend? I don't think Goku would ever have any problems like that. And yeah, his wife just left him. I mean, Goku's pretty happily married, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Well, see, I know something about it.
But let's see. Here's a question. Have you seen Dragon Ball Evolution yet?
No, because when we did want to go see it, the cinema we have in the area had taken it down within like a week or so because of lack of interest, surprisingly.
Um, well, it is not that good because I saw it, and well, I mean, when I saw it, it was really not that good.
Right. I mean, I don't know. I mean, was it not good because of how you compared it to the show, or?
Well, it was mostly character development and the way that they tried to portray some of the characters in most places was really not that good, and the action was mostly ballet. It
Right.
was just not that good of action.
It's not like the Dragon Ball Z video games I've played where you press one button and suddenly someone's been thrown into a mountain and the mountain has exploded.
Well, it does have exploding mountains, but the exploding mountains effects are like really cheaply put together.
Whereas in Dragon Ball Z, the anime, they looked like actual mountains that were exploding.
And it tells you something about Hollywood. But
But yeah, I mean, I would have been interested in seeing Dragon Ball Evolution if it had been like a Stephen Chow production, because I'm a huge Stephen Chow fan. He's a great, great filmmaker. Like I loved what was it? I loved Shaolin Soccer, and I loved what was it? Kung Fu Hustle. And there was another film that was like based on the Iron Chef phenomenon that I thought was great. That a funny guy. He basically he's like the Sam Raimi of Japan, I would say. But he doesn't make horror films. That's the only difference. He makes martial arts for films, which is. But he knows how to make a live action Looney Tunes sequence work without seeming ridiculous. Something really controversial, dude, like that would shock people.
what?
Put your name on the map of abridged interviewers. Come on, ask something shocking and controversial.
Okay, if there could be one thing you could say to your fans, all three of them that are listening right now, what would that be?
Why aren't you in school? No, I would say thank you very much for supporting the Yu-Gi-Oh! The Bridge series. You guys rock, but seriously, new episode will be out when I'm good and ready to release it. So stop asking. But no, yeah, I mean, you know, if I could talk to my fans, I would basically just say, you guys are the only reason that the whole thing works, because without people to watch the show, nobody would care that it existed, and it was fans that actually made the whole thing succeed, because I never did anything to promote my series. When I released the first episode, I posted it in. It was a fairly inactive live journal community, and then I think whoever saw it there must have posted it somewhere else, because I only posted it on my live journal where nobody was visiting, and it must have just spread from there, because by episode 5 or 6 I was seeing posts about it on like Penny Arcade and Something Awful, and I was like, why do people know about this series? I've not told anybody about it. So I mean, it was the fans that actually made everything just work and kick and snowball like it did, because it was just, I really had no faith in the show's quality whatsoever, and I never would have expected it to take off the way it did. But people believed in it, and I really owe it to them. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I've been updating so frequently these days, is because I feel like I've done like a disservice to them by just not doing that much over the past year or so. If you're wondering why I'm suddenly sort of had a resurgence of abridgingness, then it's totally mostly because of the fans and how they totally didn't give up on me, even though I almost gave up on the whole thing myself. But so yeah, I would just say thank you.
If you could pick two abridgers to duke it out at anywhere in the world, who would they be and why?
I take it I can't choose myself. I would choose Lanipator and no, I wouldn't choose Lanipator. I would choose I don't know the people that well. I've never really duke it out. You mean fight, right?
Yes.
Okay. I would choose Masako X and his evil twin Masako Q, because you know that that's going to happen at some point. You know that Masako Q is going to want to take over Masako X's life, and Masako